Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C, Pattern of Conduct, real-time documentation of the state of California's criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California in violation of existing federal law, that is 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is ongoing documentation that is specifically gathered following my release from kidnapping by this entity that was ceaselessly monitoring in violation of 18 U.S.C. and in violation of Title 15 and in violation of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, as I was subject to the same exact criminal pattern of conduct while kidnapped by this entity seeking to conceal this criminal system that I am documenting and publishing and exposing on the venue of the internet, where I am also subject to the criminal pattern of conduct, and understand that kidnapping is the pattern of conduct that is criminal obstruction of justice, as the entity seeks to avoid prosecution and to avoid documentation and exposure for engaging in this criminal system. The people of the state are the vicarious aspect of the entity. They are engaging in federal stalking as I am kidnapped by the state inside of the state facilities, all right? And they are fully engaging in kidnapping upon criminal summoning. So this is the entity from beginning to the end engaging in the criminal acts of the federal stalking and the acts of criminal obstruction of justice. This is also documentation on the venue of the internet engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct via obstruction of justice, and this is in any way reducing or removing the ability to publish the ongoing documentation of the state's criminal pattern of conduct, which is waging an ongoing threat to my life as I remain subject to this criminal system. And this is the criminal pattern of conduct on the venue of the internet, okay? And that is the totality of what I have documented since release. I was kidnapped from June 18, 2021 from third-party facilitating venue of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where the Ontario Police Department were monitoring, and this in conformity to the ongoing wealth of documentation that I have already published, specifically revealing the Ontario Police Department engaging in monitoring and kidnapping, which was via the assertion of a fictitious warrant pursuant to a fictitious prosecution. That is the people of the state of California v. Erica Lorraine Spencer, case number Mary Wendy Victor 2000640. I was subject to kidnapping pursuant to this fictitious prosecution, documentation on the facility cameras everywhere that I was inside of the facility of West Valley, located at 9700 Etiwana Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, California, and at the state facilitating venue of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, located at 8303 Haven Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, and I was subject to federal stalking ceaselessly at the jail, at the courthouse, in the courtrooms, okay? The same exact pattern of conduct ceaselessly underway. The kidnapping serves obstruction of justice, and that this is kidnapping that I endured from June 18th, 2021 up until August 16th, 2021. This is the P.O.C. All right, Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. I did capture video in order to witness what is the presence of what was on May 23rd, as I documented the Upland Police Department responding to my call on Tracy Banks, who was hiding in her bedroom on that day after she engaged in waging a physical attack, having already physically attacked me, which I documented and published early May of 2018. So what I am publishing at that time is the presence of law enforcement, which is the pattern of conduct, who are acting in concert with that third party that is actually residing with me inside of my home at that time. While unaware of the totality of the pattern of conduct, I had already began documenting it. And what I showed in video this morning is the presence of that which is established as the state's light source. This is not the sun that's over me at 9:42 in the morning while I'm at 850 North Reading Way in the city of Upland. And you can compare that to just 24 hours ago, let alone the totality of my documentation readily establishing that. That is clear, and that is incontrovertible direct evidence. So what I am speaking to is the presence of the state's light source right now, and you're also going to pay attention how it has already advanced from state facilitating venue Upland Public Library. That is BERTEC, creating audible activity, 97116G3. Number California 194413, creating light activity under the fake sun where I stand on. This is 11th and Reading Way. So you have what in my video, what you will witness is, let me show you this. While BERTEC creates light activity, Demons Patrol, license plate 7LIE255 8UWV516, and that's how the entity acts together. Stalking with light,
the peculiarized light of a commercial vehicle, 7M38753, 8CLH704. All right, and Bird Tech going out of its way to engage in kidnapping while I was kidnapped by the Sheriff's Department as well, 6NTT633. 4ZGZ660. It is 9:51 a.m. And so what I'm showing in that video is the presence of the state's light source directly over my head at 9:42 a.m. Understand that this is exactly what is ongoing as I'm capturing this documentation on May 23rd, 2018, as I stand in the middle of the property of 850 after summoning the Upland Police, who are engaging in monitoring me. And what you hear in that video is helicopter activity, though I do not focus my camera up in the sky yet, unaware that the state is stalking in this incredible manner. All right, in the same way that I'm unaware that the state is keeping a light source over my head, unaware that the state is stalking in this incredible manner. But this is the tying together of the entirety of that demonic system while I am inside of what was my castle, my home, my private residence, where the entity was remaining. That is Tracy Banks, a third party residing in that home, engaging in federal stalking inside of that venue, which that is what it is where the monitoring system is underway. That's terrorism inside of your home, as I was being subject to it and observing third party group stalkers who are the demon-possessed people of the state of California that were congregating around my home every time I would take the trash out, go to the laundry room, go to my car, standing around my window outside, standing around in the parking lot, using their vehicles as stalking with light. This is the behavioral pattern that I documented. And as I've also demonstrated in my documentation, you are witnessing the state's fake sun, the light source, outside of my window, remaining in perfect alignment, just like I showed you on third-party facilitating venue, Omnitrans, yesterday, as I moved from what is 404 South Euclid Avenue after leaving state facilitating venue, the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, where the state is documented engaging and keeping that light source for the duration of a day. All right, leaving from that presence of that venue to remain over my head at 404 South Euclid Avenue, where I get on that bus, which is Omnitrans, a facilitating venue. And I'm showing you what is the remaining of that light source over my head, remaining over what is the Upland Library, even as I'm capturing it inside of that venue. And I want to be clear, at 9:42 a.m., where I'm at 850 North Reading Way, understand that the state has already advanced from that position, which I am at later in the day. This is after 11:47, I believe, 11:42, I get on the bus and I'm at Upland Public Library. I have not gone up this direction toward 850 North Reading Way. All right, so, and that goes without saying. I've already shown the state's fake sun is supposedly over 706 West Holt at Starbucks, literally right now, over me in the parking lot, moving north and south as I'm documenting the Ontario Police stalking in relevant position under that fake sun. All right, this is the totality of that documentation. And so I want to be clear as to the significance of what I've documented. The Upland Police Department on May 23rd, the helicopter is flying over me. The fake sun is directly over my head, just like I showed you right now in video. And this is what the state has been engaged in for years. All right, so I began documenting it and documenting what is thoroughly the every aspect of that demonic system. And this is terrorism, all right, by the demon possessed who are stalking together. 5KTP416. It's 9:54 a.m. and the state's fake sun I want to document as I show, I've already shown as I leave from 630 North Fern Avenue, for example, and the state's fake sun is in perfect alignment at G Street and Fern, remaining in perfect alignment while I'm in the vehicle or while I'm walking on foot to, for example, Starbucks at 507 North Euclid. State kept its fake sun there. State's fake sun was not over 507 North Euclid yesterday, though, while I'm at 404 South Euclid across the street from that Starbucks. The state's fake sun is very perfectly angled over me at that corner of the street. All right, not over the Starbucks. All right, and then you're also comparing, that's not over 706 West Holt either. That's not over the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. That is also not remaining while you're in motion up North Euclid Avenue to get to the Upland Public Library. This is blatant stalking with a light source, and this is what the state is doing, and I'm showing you what you are encountering where the government is monitoring you. Your home is a venue. It's a facilitating venue, though you are not aware of it. You are subject to what is invasion of privacy by entity, where you are living with someone, which under those circumstances I was living with a third party, and everything that I am doing is a matter of public information. All right, that is the sexual violence. That is the ongoing permanent presence of the state while the third party is in the home with you, while third parties remain in relevant position, maintaining presence in the facilitating venues around wherever they pay their mortgage and or rent. And this is what this is the significance of what I've already published on May 23rd, 2018. All right, and then again, as I leave from Upland, and I have exited the workforce being subject to systematic monitoring and harassment, all right? But this is the hallmark, harassment, not yet aware that I'm being monitored, not yet aware that the state is keeping a fake sun over me while I'm going to work at Mobility in Orange County in the city of Costa Mesa. But this is exactly what is ongoing while those demons were engaging in very violent harassment on the job, and then dismissing me as I report it to Human Resources, which is all that you can do, all right? And that same harassment follows into what is the property management industry in a totally different county, all right, a totally different area of industry, the same pattern of what is harassment. And these are demons that I'm encountering, the same demons that engage in criminal summoning as you document their criminal conduct, all right? These are demons that I've been documenting for a prolonged period of time, and I have been systematically documenting a pattern of conduct and showing what is that pattern amongst what is demonic activity. And so every aspect of it, as I've consistently documented it, I'm showing up and I'm honing in on the different aspects of that criminal system as it is in operation. And so it is 9:57 a.m. And this is the presence of the state's fake sun, as these are demons that are pacing back and forth on on 11th Street, where the fake sun is directly over me. And I'll go ahead and give you a picture of that. This is the absence of the sun over the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, and that's just one example. All right, over the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, over Woodside Senior Apartments, over Mercy House at 435 South Bonneview, okay, over West Valley Jail at 9500 Etowanda Avenue, over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court at 8303 Haven Avenue, where I remained kidnapped by the state, and the state kept its fake sun over the vehicles as I was transported back and forth. The fake sun over Glen Helen Rehabilitation Center, the fake sun over Central Detention Center. You have what is the state's light source over Starbucks at 706 West Holt, the state's fake sun over Los Angeles. I captured the Los Angeles Police Department, understand, while I am working at the law offices of Michael Bialis. And this is in October of 2018. And I captured this prolonged video of what is federal stalking by the Los Angeles Police Department. And it is also the witnessing of what is the directed light, as you are paying attention to what is, it's abnormal on its face, first of all. But not only are you looking at what it looks like chains, but it's light in the shape of chains, gigantic chains across the walls. And you're paying attention as those chains, that's light. That's light, that is directed light, and you're looking at how it's moving around. And I'm also capturing what is the ongoing pattern with directed light in that city of Los Angeles, where I am working, and where I'm working for law offices of Michael Bialis, understand, but I am also in that same area. That is where I was working and practicing law with higher counsel, with special counsel of downtown Los Angeles, all right, with discovery compliance, all of whom engaging in very violent harassment. These are demons that I was working with while the state was keeping its light source and was stalking via law enforcement and the people of the state. And that is the source of knowledge that Los Angeles police officer had, alleging the absence of a seatbelt, when actually I did not have on a seatbelt, but as I encountered him, I had my seatbelt on, all right? And this is where I'm noticing this is not a coincidence, where I'm already observing the stalking conduct of law enforcement, and this is also not a coincidence where I am speaking. Why is he speaking about a seatbelt that I actually did not have on, but I have already put it on, and how does he know this? So this is just my attention to detail and my specific documentation. And in this video of Officer Umada, all right, and of the Los Angeles Police Department, I am under the fake sun, and directed light is surrounding, and you're also looking at what is the movement of that directed light in those videos captured on October 16th, 2018, and I summarily resigned from the law offices of Michael Bialis, as I am subject to federal stalking, the ongoing stalking by law enforcement, as I am documenting it while I am in a totally different region, having left Upland, California, and working in West Hills, all right? And I am being subject to monitoring as I'm going to different courthouses on behalf of Michael Bialis, all right? It is 10 a.m. on the dot, and I'm going to show you the presence of the state's fake sun directly over me at 11th Street and Redding in the city of Upland, California. That is P.O.C. All right, what you will observe in my video is federal stalking as it is underway, and that's demonic conduct demonstrated by the people in a commercial vehicle, that's Vertec, demonstrated by the state, being the United States Post Office and the Upland Police Department, whose identity I did specify as they are engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, which is terrorism, under the fake sun that is directly over my head. In direct contrast with the wealth of documentation already establishing that the state is stalking with that light source, while demons, that's what they are maintaining awareness in real time with what you are documenting. That is the impermissible threat by demons who are engaging in that system. That is the license plates and those identities are published in that video. It is 10:03 a.m. and that is P.O.C. 8TWR065 7VCP376. Sorry, this is a cup of ice I have in the back. I'm going to move this. Let's see, 8KKJ332. It is 10:03 a.m. 5SGT569 at Quincy and 11th Street. 8KVS 767. 6NBZ 693. 5EVS 229. 7LCJ 931. UPS crossing path on 11th Street under the fake sun. Driving west on 11th Street crossing path. It is, let me see, I am at 7DET 949, 8SFS 246, I believe, United States Post Office, number 8208747, 6CJA 173, 6F, oh, I can't really see that one. I read that one already. Seven VCP 376, 6 VCY 474, 37817A3, 7XYU 407, 7CVR 020, RAMS FLX, 7CJK 519, 7TPT 525, 6XMA 604, 6EPJ 162, UTS, this is a utility vehicle. It's got the emblem UTS, stalking with light, making a U-turn in the middle of the street, pulling around cones on a trailer behind them, using that vehicle as a means of stalking with light. 6WRA202, I think I read that one already. 8MXJ029, I read that one already. Let's see. I'm at Laurel and 11th. That's where that utility vehicle drives forward, makes a U-turn. That's what the state does with airplanes. All right, flies forward in alignment with me and makes a U-turn in the sky, maintaining relevant position, stalking with light, including Edison 8Y18618, using vehicle 9154Y2. Edison, California, US.059076, and the license plate on the other vehicle 91524Y2. Okay, let me show you what this is. I did document what is Edison engaging in federal stalking and terrorism with the Upland Fire Department. I'm located at 790 Laurel Avenue at the intersection of Laurel and 11th Street. All right, that's P.O.C. Oh, the state is amplifying plane activity. All right, so you're looking at the ongoing combination. It's not an ongoing coincidence. State is stalking via aircraft, creating amplified audible activity of airplanes, stalking with sirens, and stalking with light, while the fake sun happens to be directly over my head in an entirely different city. At the same time where I am documenting the state of the state's fake sun over my head in an entirely different place, where they also happen to engage in the same exact demonic behavioral patterns. It is currently 10:09 a.m. and that is P.O.C. Again, I'm at the intersection of 11th Street and Laurel. 8UQJ341. All right, license 5N18256. And so now what you have is they're using utility vehicles at the corners or around the perimeter. This is the creation of light activity. This is how they stalk with light, using street lights, using building lights, as I've already documented, using their vehicles, private and commercial. Okay, United States Post Office at that intersection. This is 11th Street and Euclid Avenue, stalking with light. All right, this is a staple, if you will. The state engages in heavy use of utility workers, construction, for example. They are the form for what is stalking with light. And that's what they are engaging in. Edison at Laurel, the fire department crossing on Euclid, the state amplifying sirens, the state amplifying plane activity, and these utility vehicles creating that's peculiarized light, using their utility vehicles to do so. All right, the demons that are the United States Post Office patrolling. This is another one. And understand the demons, they engage in that demonic behavioral pattern. As you identify them more and more, engage in it. That's P.O.C. Let me show you a picture of that. All right, I took a picture. They are at the intersection of 11th Street and Euclid, using those utility vehicles as a means of federal stalking. License plate. This is criminal facilitation while the people of the state patrol SSBN 645X P5. I can't really see that one. Scratch that one. Let's see. 5H35816 674SG handicap. And understand that this is also how they engage in monitoring inside of your private residence, maintaining around the perimeter light activity while you're inside of your home, not even aware of it, all right? And while they are listening to you undress, listening and or watching you, stalking in the path, okay? You're not gonna limit the government's especially when it thinks it's getting away with it, especially when it thinks it's just going to kidnap you when you become aware and try to document it, engaging in, especially through third parties that live with you, that sexual violence that you're subject to by the demon possessed, all right, who are stalking around the perimeter, using their vehicles, stalking in the path. And these vehicles that I want to document makes a U-turn, monitoring with Edison and the Upland Fire Department. License plate 84091T2. That's what I took a picture of. They are maintaining light in the same way that the Upland Fire Department is, and acting with the Upland Police Department that crossed path as I'm capturing that video, and as acting with Burtech, who's maintaining light activity, the same peculiarized light they're stalking in the path while the fake sun is over my head. All right, so I'm continuing to walk what is south on Euclid Avenue. And again, traffic is a means of maintenance of presence in the path by the demon possessed. And the state's fake sun is far off from coexisting with being directly over my head as I remain at 706 West Holt Boulevard, which is Starbucks, engaging in criminal summoning, far over coexisting with being directly over my head and remaining over the entrance. And remember, the state's directed light that is suggesting is sunlight, while it is far from that location, that's coexisting. You want to place directed light suggesting that that's sunlight all day long, but the state's fake sun is clearly over 850 North Reading Way while I'm there all day long. All right, that's what the state is engaging in. That's the documentation. And that is impossible. All right. You have what is the maintenance of that light activity by the people while they are stalking with light. It is no different as they have a United States Post Office emblem on their vehicle, a Burtech truck, a dumpster truck company emblem on their vehicle, an Edison emblem logo on their vehicle, some utility worker construction company logo on their vehicle. This is legally irrelevant for what is stalking with light. All right, you're getting at what is demonic behavior by those who are using commercial vehicles, and that is called form. And there is no form where the government is monitoring you. You're looking at the identical behavioral pattern. All right, so United States Post Office meeting me at another corner. United States Post Office vehicle number 7200811, delivering at the same time at the house where I'm walking past with directed lights, swiping across that house where they're delivering mail at 706 Euclid Avenue. An overweight African-American female. She's engaging in federal stalking. That's documentation of terrorism while she's studying her communication device and doing so under the fake sun. All right, and directed light sweeping across the face of that house. All right, that's demonic conduct by the United States Post Office. Let me show you a picture of that. I'm going to show you a picture of the vehicle that represents their presence and the fake sun, which is right over my head. This is the venue where they're delivering mail at 706, and directed light, as I've already shown you, swooping across the face of that house while she's standing there in relevant position in that unnatural and impossible environment. Meaning that's not a natural environment. That is the maintenance of that unnatural environment. That is terrorism by the United States Post Office, a government actor. Okay? Under what is the creation of activity by the state using sirens. The Upland Fire Department, that's P.O.C. That's the Upland Fire Department. All right, the state facilitating venue where the state kept its fake sun yesterday as I arrived. 7200811, that's the United States Post Office monitoring with the Upland Fire Department, monitoring with Burtech, monitoring with Edison, monitoring with the utility workers, and the directed light, which is the mark of demon possession, as you are exposing that. 8HIL538 is also monitoring. Understand that third party who's getting mail delivered at their home, 706, that's a facilitating venue. They're not separate. They're not monitoring and just going to someone's house who's not monitoring under that same environment. They're all monitoring together. All right. I remain subject to monitoring as I walk through past what are facilitating venues. That's why the fake sun is over me while I'm standing in front of your house. All right. That's why the fake sun is over me while I'm in my apartment complex inside of my home. They're all monitoring together. All right. And it is currently 10:16 a.m. All right, documenting United States Post Office engaging in terrorism. Again, that's vehicle number 7200811. That is the maintenance of presence by those utilizing what are commercial and or state vehicles. United States Post Office represents the state. 7VYU 597. 88KK 610. 8AAJ 216. YP 23076. 6K 38654. Fake sun directly over my head as I am walking south on Euclid Avenue back toward the Upland Public Library, and I'm walking past a third-party facilitating venue where the fake sun is over that venue, such that everyone may engage in ongoing monitoring on the venue of the internet via communication devices in concert with the state that is stalking with a light source by planes and helicopters, by law enforcement, and like, for example, in the city of Ontario and Upland, it's AMR ambulance. All right, and this is Euclid Medical Dental Center on Euclid Avenue. Euclid and F Street. State's Fake Sun is right over me while I'm walking past this venue, right over the building. All right, this is 600 Euclid Avenue. It is currently 10:19 a.m. All right, so I just want to point out what is the ongoing elements of federal stalking. And this is federal stalking as it is practiced by a public entity in concert with the people of the state that are demonstrating demon possession, and that is terrorism in that demented environment that they maintain in order to engage in federal stalking and in order to terrorize. 7BCE038 FedEx. And this is 8THC830, 6JTJ260, 8VRW111. PH31, 8Y18052, 6PSK307. All right, and let me point something else out to you, which, goes without saying, but I'm going to say everything. I'm not going to assume anything. Understand while I am pointing out what is federal stalking, as I'm speaking to what is federal stalking as I documented it on May 23rd, 2018 by the Upland Police Department, it is the absence of coincidence that the Upland Police Department then crosses path under that same exact unnatural environment, which is a fake sun over my head, while I'm pointing out information about that agency. That is the entity engaging in what is terrorism with knowledge of what you are documenting by a demon-possessed actor. That is the Upland Police Department. All right? I just want to be clear because that's exactly what they engaged in, crossing path. And not only it's the absence of coincidence because that environment is present, it's the absence of coincidence as I'm talking about that Upland Police Department and their crossing path. All right? These are demons that I'm dealing with. These are demons that I'm exposing and identifying. It is 10:21 a.m. State's Fake Sun is over my head at what is 550 Euclid Avenue, and not over the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, not over Starbucks at 706 West Holt. That is impossible to coexist. Impossible. And the sun is not the sky, maintaining perpetual presence over your head. And the actual sun is not physically present over any of those venues. And you're also looking at what coexists with the state stalking with that light source, and that is the directed light. All right, it is 10:21 a.m. and that is P.O.C. 10:40 a.m. inside of state facilitating venue Upland Public Library, and federal stalking underway inside of the private space that is the restroom, and that would be on the surveillance cameras as well. And as I documented the ongoing environment, and there is no question as to what is demonic terrorism inside of that private space, following inside of the restroom to engage in affirmative conduct. This is a group stalker, demon possessed, stalking inside of the bathroom with knowledge of the documentation. Okay, it's 10:40 a.m. and that's sexual violence at Upland Public Library. That's P.O.C. All right, I want to get the group stalker that's stalking behind me while I'm getting the fake sun in perfect alignment with me at 1st Street and 9th Street in the city of Upland. State's Fake Sun is glaring in perfect alignment with me. Not in front of the public library of Upland, by the way, okay? Not in front of there like it was yesterday while I stood in front of that Upland Public Library, and like the day before that while I stood in front of what is the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. No, the State's Fake Sun is in alignment with me in the city of Upland at 1st and 9th. 5JZG177, patrolling like a psychopath, California license 502584. Now reversing, that's called pacing, and is doing so in the fake sun. That is also where the state aims its directed light on that truck. That's a surface of light. Understand what this demon is doing. All right, and monitoring with this psychopath that's stalking in her vehicle on 1st Street, 5JZG177. They're maintaining presence. It is 6 p.m. on it's 6:03 p.m. Let me get this demon that's approaching right now. This is terrorism. All right, engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. 6ZJD470. All right, that's P.O.C. It is 6:03 p.m. and I did capture video of the State's Fake Sun. Yeah, and I'm standing in between the crevices in between two buildings. And I want to show you what is a picture. And this is the state's fake sun that's no longer at perfect alignment at the intersection of 1st and 9th Street. This is exactly what I'm showing you as I sit underneath the shaded walkway of the Ontario Open Family Community Library. And the state moves its light source as though it is the state itself that wants to see me with its light source, moving such that it can see me, place its light on me, place that light object directly on me. It's no longer at the intersection. It's right here as I stand betwixt two buildings, the Glassblower Studio and the old Magnolia Tea Room. Glassblower Studio is located at 223 1st Street, I believe. It's 6:04 p.m. I'm going to take a picture of that. I did capture the ongoing evidence. I show you that very nuanced, that very specific movement, that stalking conduct. That's what it is, of a psychopath that wants to be exactly where I'm at. It's like the state is using its light source like a camera that wants to be on me everywhere that I move. Where I am standing betwixt these two buildings is not where I was standing moments ago in the street at 1st and 9th. And you can clearly see that in the video. I'm showing you where my property is still remaining at that intersection and where the fake sun is necessarily moving, just as I have moved from my property at that street. This is what the state is doing on a constant basis. And by the way, where I still remain at in front of the Upland Public Library yesterday, where I'm capturing video of demonic group stalkers at 6:07 p.m. Understand it's 6:05 p.m. where I'm capturing this video. The state's fake sun is not in alignment with the Upland Public Library anymore. Okay, this is what exactly, I mean, and you already know this because I'm not at the Open Family Community Library. The state's fake sun is not possibly in alignment, aiming all of that supposed sunlight onto the floors and to the depths past the circulation desk, touching the persons of those state actors inside of that venue at 6 p.m. while it is in perfect alignment with me as I'm standing outside of the Upland Public Library. You already know that from that example already, but I'm just showing you. I'm not even at the Upland Public Library. The state's fake sun is in alignment with me at 1st and 9th, and then as I walk back between two buildings away from that intersection, the state's fake sun no longer at that intersection, all right? And this is what you are observing. That is demonic activity. That is called stalking with light. It is the outward demonstration of the demon possession. That is the condition of every single last person, indiscriminately, okay? All right? It includes the one that's in their car or in their house or in their salon, in relevant position, in their commercial vehicle, whether that's a dumpster truck, a police vehicle, or the post office. All right? That ongoing environment maintains, and it's a direct indication of the demonic environment and the demonic possession that surrounds you. And that is terrorism while that environment follows you and while those demon-possessed individuals are following you in concert. Okay? It's 6:07 p.m. That's P.O.C. Let me get this license plate. 7HCD273 and 8NRY 353. 6:07 p.m. All right, the license plate that I did recite to you, understand that is a demon indeed. And the video that I showed you of the demon-possessed stalker in the truck pacing, indeed, that is a demon who was engaging in the demonic behavioral pattern of using peculiarized light that is stalking in relevant position, turning on the hazards of that vehicle. Where also I am showing what is the state's pattern of stalking with planes, amplifying activity around me, and while these demon-possessed stalkers are stalking with noise. So 5JZG177, stalking with audible activity as I end that last episode, meaning as I say the sentence, that's P.O.C, and I stop that podcast recording, she honks her horn. That's called stalking with activity. All right, and I want to get the license plate of what is that. That's a demon that you saw pacing in what was a commercial vehicle, a large truck, in what is directed light all over that vehicle, which is a means of touching surfaces around me with light. Understand what this is. And then he's reversing and forwarding, reversing and forwarding. It's not that he doesn't know how to drive that truck. That's called pacing by a demon. License plate 90264E2, using the hazards on that vehicle, which I already read the California license number. I will read it again. California 502584. It says DOT 297769. Okay? That is P.O.C. and that is demonic activity, just using a commercial vehicle. And so for purposes of prosecution, what you do is you are prosecuting what are the many faces of the state while they are engaging in a criminal monitoring system. That is federal stalking, but this is terrorism. And you are prosecuting commercial actors that are engaging in using that, though their companies, their brands, their logos, their business, for engaging in the terrorism of an American citizen. And that is that which you can prosecute civilly and criminally. That's a matter of justice, as I have substantial documentation showing demon-possessed stalkers doing that exact same thing and doing so with impunity because they wore the brand Amazon Prime thinking that they were going to get away with it. And I'm just using Amazon Prime as an example, but I do have heavy documentation of demon-possessed stalkers of Amazon Prime. And this was my recognition and the necessity of policy and understanding how what demon possession is and how it is terrorism and how no logo or brand that you are representing is in any way going to avoid or make you impervious to being identified as the terrorist that you are, the sex offender, and the stalker that you are on behalf of a public entity. It's an unprecedented criminal activity. Unprecedented. All right. It is currently 6:11 p.m. License plate 7TJB321. I'm sorry, I can't really see that one. We can scratch something. Yeah, I can't really see that one. I am walking what is north. No, I'm sorry. I'm walking west on 9th Street. License 8WYY653, 6ZJD470, 8UGF991, EOB2, 8XHR, 8XHR862, using the car wash as a means of crossing path. These other ones that I'm reading, they're sitting in their cars, they're stalking with light, they wait for you to come, and then they engage in using their vehicles as a means of light. And this is while I'm at third-party facilitating venue 711 in the city of Euclid at 9th and Euclid Avenue now. It's 6:12 p.m.
I know.
All right, license plate 7MVE024, paper plate BP30L62, 5SHV620. And these are third parties that are patrolling at the at 1st and 9th through the Upland, like the antique, looks like the downtown area of Upland, 6YSD 685. Understand they're all using their shops, their antique shops, their businesses for federal stalking right now. 8HJC 178. Criminal activity is underway. Terrorism is underway. These are demons that run these shops, that run these stores, that are over here in the form of what are patrons that are third parties, all right, engaging in terrorism and federal stalking. 6HCF 521, and this is called patrolling, one demon after another after another. License plate 7XTT 747. 8JMJ318. It's 6:16 p.m. 6XEA982. All right, and pursuant to ongoing stalking, and so as I wait for to be picked up by Tracy Banks, understand I am subject to monitoring. So they are stalking in their vehicles. The third party in the large truck that was pacing, the one I showed you he leaves that truck in relevant position to exactly where I am supposed to wait to be picked up. Okay, this is intentional and this is criminal facilitation. As every single last one of them are stalking around in the path, and as they're pacing by, that's monitoring. This is peculiarized light, maintaining light, all right? By that third party whose license plate on that truck and California license number I already recited. But this is deliberate positioning. It's 6:18 p.m. 8MLY005. That's Metrolink at 6:20 p.m. You can just interchange that name with Union Pacific. It's the same demonic behavioral pattern, the same criminal pattern of conduct underway. p.m. That's called amplification. I can literally see the difference between the train that I'm looking at and the sound that I'm hearing, which is fake, okay? But that was an Amtrak train that was going in the east direction, and it is 6:21 p.m. But that sound continued since 6:18. Okay, 6:18 p.m. until 6:21 p.m. And that's artificial activity, by the way, and that is also pacing. So all you have to do is look at a schedule of the train. And again, just like Omnitrans, Metrolink has engaged, and I've documented them engaging and deviating from their schedule as I waited for them to arrive while they were monitoring me in concert with the state, which is also harassment. And they engage in deviation from their schedule, and this is also why I'm publishing what is audible activity. All right, and it is also via Metrolink. It's 6:22 p.m. License 8G96828. That's called stalking with activity as I make a new move. Demons paying very close attention. That's what the truck with the hazard lights in front of me is for. That's what the use of fake train activity by Metrolink is for. A massive amount of people are monitoring all together. And these people are all demon possessed. Okay? All of them. Not an episode of Night of the Living Dead. This is real life. And this is demonic activity. HCXN 355. Touching with light 8 PRH 885. Stopping in front of the Methodist church, and understand them stopping in front is the poor form for what is molestation with directed light. This is a sex offender that's monitoring and engaging in terrorism with the state. And then again, that's license plate 8 PRH 885. All right, I did capture video of 8PRH885, and I just want to make sure I recite that on my podcast, okay? Loitering in relevant position. It is 6:26 p.m. What? Minding my business. What are you doing?
You're recording. Why?
I'm holding my phone. What makes you think I'm recording? What? This is audible activity by a stalker who knows she's being documented. Get your hefty self in the car and go about your stalking business, third party. Bye. Bye. Under a fake sun. That's the crap that third parties talk under a fake sun. That's Satan for you. Okay? That's P.O.C. AJQT361. Bye, Satan. That's P.O.C. That is P.O.C. That's stalking with sirens on the opposite street. That's 2nd Street where they're stalking with sirens. In relevant position, and the state is amplifying plane activity over. So while they drive by C Street, the intersection of 1st and C, right where I'm at, they bleep their sirens with the lights on the vehicle. That's called stalking in the path. They sound their sirens for that second as they're crossing the intersection where I'm at, okay? P.O.C., 6:30 p.m. 4RKK724. I hold my phone up in the same manner, whether I'm taking a picture or whether I'm recording on my podcast. All right, so this group stalker that comes up, what are you doing? She knows, first of all, she's monitoring, but I'm saying actually you should have no indication of what I'm doing, and you certainly are free to hold up your phone. That does not mean that you're taking a picture. I'm holding up my phone right now, and I'm not taking a picture. This is audible activity by a demon-possessed stalker. That's what Sean Thrasher is, and I'm going to prosecute him. All right, that is a demon-possessed stalker. I'm going to prosecute him. He is a sex offender, and then having the audacity to summon those sex offending kidnappers of the Ontario Police Department, all of them together are criminals. And that is the reality. This is how you are understanding what Satan acts like in the natural. All right? These are puppets of Satan. It is 6:31 p.m., and that's not an exaggeration, and that is Metrolink again at 6:31. Take a good look at the, oh no, that's Indian Pacific on the Metrolink train station, not Metrolink. I'm sorry, Indian Pacific, excuse me, United Pacific. That's the pattern of conduct. They're running a train back and forth, just like on the Amtrak train tracks. That's called amplification of a train. Playing the same tape. 7NTT368 is monitoring to that. That four-eyed demon-possessed stalker. All right, the demons that are pacing in traffic on Euclid, pacing in traffic on C Street, pacing in traffic on what is 9th Street, and this is 8DNT471 crossing path to that same audible activity, while the state surrounds with train activity and amplified sirens in directed light, what is clearly also not the sun. So you're understanding what demonic activity is, how a public entity monitors, and what demonic activity is actually what it looks like. Because this is what it looks like, this is what it sounds like. You You have an underage minion right here monitoring to that. That's the state contributing to delinquency of minors who are engaging in terrorism with the state, stalking with the state. Alrighty, it is 6:34 p.m. That's a group stalker on a bike. Seven FKF 881. CSZ 232. The state is flying over the same Metrolink train station, train tracks right here to my right, and a commercial-sized airplane. AKP 960. It's 6:36 p.m. Patrolling. This one's patrolling. BZN 8168. They're all patrolling as a group, but this one in particular is driving by repeatedly. That's patrolling on his own. 7JHE 710. It's 6:36 p.m. P.O.C.